Now at this point, I know that you're dying to get in and start playing. Bear with me, because I know how confusing it can get if you jump ahead and just start editing and playing around with clips, and you back yourself into a corner. So bear with me. This is best practice. I promise you that. And if you follow me, whether you're following me along with the source material that I've sent, or you just sit there and watch, I promise you, by the end, you will have a much better understanding than if we just deep dived into it and just started playing. Because I could start saying, do this, do that, do the other, and it's not clear what I mean. I've taken a lot of time and a lot of preparation to show you these things at the right time, in the right order and the right way, to set you up with your knowledge going forward. So once you've finished this course, of course you can come back and use it as a reference, but leaving and finishing this course, my main intention is for you to be competent enough, if not confident enough, to really go ahead and do what you want to do. Okay? With that in mind, let's move on to importing your media and the variety of ways to import. So, a quick, brief recap of what we have here. I'm just going to move that there. Everything has to be in the right order, and I always love project first and then effects. So, in here, we have where all our footage is going to be stored within the program. Here, we have our effects. Generally, we don't need both at the same time, which is why I have them stacked in this one window together. The beauty of having this length here is not really because of the effects, although if you start to deep dive, you can see how quickly this takes up space. Some of these, very briefly, do also have other parts here, but I don't actually use them. Anything within the effects panel with regards to these. We may touch on some of them in the future, but that's why I have it sized here. The reason why we have this length is because when we start adding in footage, this very quickly fills up. And I'll show you the best way to manage your footage so you can easily get to it. There is also a search bar here, those eagle-eyed among you may have seen, but yeah. So that's that little window. In this window, we have source, which will become apparent soon. Once we have footage in here, we initially can play with it in here before it shows on here. Effects controls, again, this will be when we're playing with clips, which will be down here in the timeline. This will be your main work area. Audio track mixer, remember, this is where we set up what we wanted. We did not want audio clip mixer. If at this point you haven't done that and it says audio clip mixer here, right click and close that panel and go to window and select audio track mixer. If it's not already there, if it opens maybe here, grab it here and drag it, not there, but up onto this line so it's next to effects controls. Here we have a few of our buttons which we may or may not use during the editing process, and this huge program window is where our video will show. Down at the bottom of here you can see a few little hotkeys. We will also be editing this, but as you can see they're grayed out at the moment and we can't get to them until we have something on the timeline. We can, but we can't really show you what it means. You may feel that certain areas of this have been done in a strange order, but the only way in which I've been able to show you certain parts up to now is when we've done other things. So what I mean by that is I haven't been able to show you how to play with the workspaces until we've set up a project, even though we haven't really started our project other than naming it and saving it. So the next part is to get some form of media into our project to start playing with. Now, I say media rather than video because in Adobe Premiere Pro, we can play with video, of course. We can also play with image, we can also play with audio and graphics, but that will come later down the line. I say play because I see that I play for a living, and that's what you need to keep in mind when you're in Premiere Pro and in any of these programs, really. It is play. We're playing around, we're creating, and nothing is cut and dried. There are different ways to play with media. There's different ways to present what you're editing. But let's get that footage in to the project.